Y'all see me doing my hands like this, right? Another 10 minutes with maxxgilliam. Thanks for joining. Thanks for sharing, liking, and commenting. Really appreciate that. This is something new still that I'm doing. We have maybe 4 or 5 episodes. We just had on King Jones effects, and it's just too good. It's too much I want to ask him. We had to do part 2 right away. So, soon as he jumps back in, we'll have him back up and we'll go into part 2. Some of these other questions that I have. The last episode was fire. We talked about his restaurant, Chicken and Chips, and how he manifested that into being. And we talked about the lockdowns and how that affected his business, which actually helped his business, he says. So as soon as he gets back on here, we are on. Let me send him this so he knows we're back. King Jones effects. There he is. Here we go. Y'all can tell I'm excited, right? Yeah, this is my brother. I'm very proud of him. So glad to see the things he's doing. All right, we're back. Part 2. Peace.
Peace.
With King Jones effects. Let me ask you this, man.
Yes, sir.
What was it like transitioning from New Jersey to Cali, like the extreme East Coast we're at, and now you're on the extreme West Coast? What was that like, and what made you make that decision?
So, man, you know my story very well, bro. You were there at the pinnacle of my story. Transitioning from East Coast, West Coast, man. So many so many factors that
Factors,
are
yeah.
involved.
Well, let me
So
ask you this: what do you
yeah,
what do you like? What do you like? I don't want to say better, but what are some of
right,
the
right.
differences that you enjoy about Cali?
Yeah, there's a lot more opportunity out here. There's a lot more, Los Angeles is 14 million people in Los Angeles.
Okay.
That's the inner city or Los Angeles County, I should say, is like 14 million people. So within those 14 million people, there are a lot of entrepreneurs. There are a lot of actors, and everything. All different types of business people. When you first come to LA, it's like walking into a candy shop. You see all these different things. You see
Mm-hmm.
nightclubs and models and actors and businesses and so it's funny because in Jersey and in Philly, I was able to meet some amazing people. Like we were able to meet amazing
Absolutely.
people in New Jersey
New
and
York.
with these people. Yeah, my example, we were doing a lot of stuff. We were meeting with everybody, connecting with a lot of people. So I kind of took that same mentality that I had in Jersey and brought it out here. And for a minute, I was running around with like a chicken with my head cut off, no pun intended. Like, there was no real focus. There was
Direct.
just, I gotta meet this person, I gotta meet that person. Oh, I gotta, and while I was sending that energy out there, it was coming back to me. Like I was meeting like all these people, the first event I came out here to, I went to a Grammy party and I was with Diddy and all these celebrities. And like, I think you were there for that. I think you came, I think
I was there for like a month or two.
yeah. And like, so like when I came to LA, I'm like in all these parties and I'm like with all these celebrities, like literally like the week of, I'm like, yo, this is crazy, and it really started to resonate with me. Like I need to be in this city.
Right.
Um, at that time, I didn't realize that I needed to be in the city for a spiritual journey. I thought I
Mm.
needed to be here to make a big name in the entertainment industry. It's, but that's the
Yeah.
difference between I was living in Jersey and being in LA. It's like if you have a dream or if you have a goal to do something, you know, sometimes you have to go out of your comfort zone. You got to leave, and then maybe you'll come back. Maybe you'll come back later in life, you know,
Mm-hmm.
which I definitely about that later. I plan on doing for sure. But yeah, I had to kind of leave my comfort zone and come out to LA to kind of spread my, like being a caterpillar in a cocoon, you know, and you're in this cocoon, and then once you come out of that cocoon, you got to spread your wings and fly. So I had to leave, fly, and now, you know, my wings are spreading, and still, you know, I haven't settled down yet. I'm still going. Yeah.
Well, listen. How important, because I know you're such a mover and you're fast paced. I mean, you walk fast, you talk fast, you do everything. Like when you hit the ground, like you said, when you hit LA, you out, boom, boom, boom. How and what is it like to slow life down in that respect?
You broke up a little bit. The connection broke up, but you said
How
oh,
how important is meditation to you now?
oh
And you
wow.
know the difference of it being so fast paced to now just being still.
Man, I was just talking about this to my shaman the other day. I slowing down and meditation actually has helped me attract everything to me versus me going, running, trying to find this, trying to do this. Literally, like slowing down allows, not only does it allow things to come to me, but it also allows me to focus on just one thing and just
Yeah,
focus on that one thing. You know, it doesn't, like it's like the tortoise and the hare, bro. It's like the
that
hare,
is
the
my thing.
rabbit.
Wow.
It's like the rabbit is like going fast as hell, and he's running. He's like fucking going. He's you know, and the tortoise is like, I'm cool. I'm just gonna chill. You know, take my time. I'll get there when I get there, because when I get my time, and then the rabbit is going so fast that he feel like he could take a break. He could take a long break, and he's like, he all the way back there. He ain't going to win. And he takes such a long break, he falls asleep, and the tortoise passes him and wins the game. It's not how fast you running, bro. It's how focused you are on that one goal. And when you focus and slow down, then you can really see the end. You can see the win. When you focus and slow down, but you're running so fast, you drain your energy. When you're going too much, when you're doing too much, you're draining your energy, and that's why so many people get drained. I know so many people that have moved out to Los Angeles, and they get so drained that they have to leave. It happened to me, honestly. To be honest with you, I was here. You know, I was here from 2013 to about 2015, and I left and went to Atlanta. And I was in Atlanta for 2 years. LA will drain you. That's one thing people have to realize. Like, LA looks like this grand old place, like, oh, it's amazing. It's like, you know, lights, camera, action. But most people that I know that have been successful, they came out to LA, they had to leave because it drained them, and then they came back because when they left, they kind of saw things for how it was. They
Right.
were able to look from the outside in and be like, oh, because sometimes you can't see it while you're in it.
While you're in it, yeah, you had to
You got to
regroup.
step back. You got to regroup. You got to refocus. You got to regroup. And there's a word I'm looking for. I can't think of it right now. But you know, it's like a reset. You got to hit the reset button. You know, and
Yeah.
then once you hit the reset button, you know, like on a video game, you start all over, and then you figured it out. You figured out the codes. You
It's
know.
amazing that you brought up the tortoise and the hare because I have this whole little thing I wrote up and put on my story not too long ago. I'm going to share it with you. And that's
Please,
amazing that you said that because my thoughts are very similar on that. And I look
bro.
at it as the same person, you know, that part of us that wants to be the hare and the part of us that needs to be the
Yeah,
tortoise. And so that's very interesting. Now tell
man. I'm
me,
gonna tell you.
say
Yeah.
again?
Go ahead. I was gonna say something real quick.
Go ahead, please.
Uh, a lot of what you see me now, I learned from you, bro. Like
Mm,
the knowledge and the way that you move and the way that you do things, I I was able to channel that energy, and
mm.
I I'm grateful, and I thank you for that knowledge, bro, because like, you know, it's no surprise that you're doing this podcast, that you're doing this, you know, there's so much knowledge that you have to share with the world. And this is very important. Very
Man,
important.
brother, I don't even know what to say. Thank you. It really is necessary for me to hear that, you know, because I often wonder how you know, how the things, you know, the way I go about things, how they're perceived and how they're taken. And you always, you know, you always encourage me. You always tell me that, hey, man, you're right about that. You know, you're right about that, man. So I really appreciate that. I do need it. So thank you, bro. And I mean, just to even look at what you're doing and to think that I could have imparted anything, you know, to get you where you're at with that. I mean, that's just, I mean, what, you know, I'm so happy for you and proud
Right?
for you. So for you to throw it back on me, that's, I don't even have the words, you know what I mean?
You got to do that. Like, that's important for us as a group, as a unit, to encourage each other. Like it was one point in my life where I was messed up, bro. Like I lost a lot. You know, I lost a lot,
No,
and you were
no, no,
there.
no. Stop. We ain't doing that. We're not doing that. Look, if we gonna do that, let's set up a whole joint for that. Let's do a whole joint for that, bro. We just
Let's do it.
scratching the surface, bro.
It's
Listen,
a long
we need more people tuning in first. They not getting all that.
we can't give them all that. Sounds
You
good.
know what I'm saying? Because you know, I know, man. We're there. You know, we man. It's something. But let me just keep going, man, because I want to keep it short for people.
Cool.
Um, and I do want to. We might need a part three, man. But let's just go.
Yeah.
Ayahuasca. You posted not too long ago that you had an ayahuasca trip. Now, explain to us what is ayahuasca and how taking it changed you, if at all.
So ayahuasca is sacred plant medicine. Um, Ayahuasca is a mix. Okay, so ayahuasca has been used for hundreds of thousands of years. I would say maybe millions of years, but I'll just keep it at hundreds of thousands of years by the Native American indigenous tribe. Um,
Okay.
and they lived, you know, in the times before electricity, before light and all that. They lived in the wilderness. They lived in the mountains. They lived in the jungle. They had campfires. When they lived in the jungle, they had to find things to eat. Okay, they had to eat the berries and the plants, and they had to kill rabbits, and they had to kill deer and all of that. And so one of the plants that they used to eat from gave them these visions, and they didn't understand why they were having these visions, and they figured out it was from a plant. So they took this plant. It was like a Amazonian plant from a tree called ayahuasca, and they would brew it, and then they took this root, which we call DMT, okay, which is also comes from psilocybin mushrooms. So they took the root from the bark, and they cooked it, and they mixed it with this plant, and that's what created ayahuasca. And they would drink it, and they would get visions from Mother Earth. They would get visions from the spirit guides, from their ancestors. Okay, for anybody watching, if you don't understand spirit guides or, you know, visions or anything like that, regardless of that, we all have ancestors. We all have grandmothers, grandfathers, great grandmothers, great grandfathers. Our ancestors, our family that were 100 years before us, they're always speaking to us. We're
Mm-hmm.
able to connect with them through this medicine. We're able to connect with our ancestors through this plant medicine, ayahuasca. So, so that's what it is. It's a sacred plant medicine. It's not psychedelic. It's not drugs. It's plant medicine that actually heals your body and opens up your vision so that you can hear from your spirit guides, from your ancestors. So a lot of people, you know, they're looking like, you know, what's happening? Are you in some kind of sect or cult? You know, you know, what's going on? And it's like,
Right.
honestly, it has really nothing to do with that. Like, I love the meditation. I love, you know, being in a spiritual journey. But more importantly, I'm doing this because I want to connect with my ancestors. I want to connect with my mother, my grandmother. I want to connect, you know, and I've done that. It's changed my life in so many ways. One ceremony of ayahuasca is like 10 years of therapy, bro.
Therapy, okay.
It has healed inner child hurt. It has healed past trauma. Okay. You know how we grew up. You know what we grew up in.
Oh yeah.
It's healed all of that. It helped me to not only forgive others, but it's helped me forgive myself. You know,
And you know, I've experienced that in other. Like you said, this is not psychedelic, but the psychedelics will, you know, if you're in the right mindset, you know, it will do a similar thing. But go ahead.
yeah, and that's another thing. Like, you know, I've experimented with different psychedelics, and I'm not really like the psychedelic type. Like I don't do it too much. But when you're in the right mindset, it helps you tremendously. You know, and that's why a lot of people they get addicted to these things and they do it too much. And you got to be really careful because it's not a medicine that is supposed to be done all the time. Even
Not recreational.
Yeah, it's more sacred. It's more, you know, you have to be very careful who you take it with. It can only be administered by a shaman. Like you can't, it's not a street drug. You can't go onto the corner and get this off the street. Like it has to be like, and it's so important. You have to research. You have to trust the person that administers this medicine, because the person that administers this medicine has to be a caring and loving person. They can't be doing it for greed. They can't be doing it for self. You know, you're healing these people that are taking this medicine. It's medicine. It heals your body. Yeah.
Right. And I think a lot of us have a misconception as to what medicine is, because
Right.
we've grown up in a medical system that, you know what I mean, that does things their way, and we used to do things a different way, which is what kind of like what you're talking about. And many different cultures have different foods or different remedies or different things that they use for healing. So I find that very interesting, man. And that segues me into asking you about fear, because I know a little bit of your feelings about fear.
Yeah.
And I know that a lot of people would never even do a thing like that because of fear. So tell us a little bit about your experience with fear and where you're at with it now, like your thoughts about it.
Man, again, growing up, how we grew up, you know, we were so fear was from the beginning, from church and from people around us, and so I think the biggest part of me dealing with fear, because we all have fear, it's a human thing, right? Anybody tells you they're not afraid of anything or fearful of anything, there's something that they're worried about or concerned about. I had a big fear of leaving Willingboro, bro. I had a big fear of like leaving my hometown, like what I'm going to do. I had a fear of when my mother passing, like what I'm going to do without her. Something sparked in me and was like, just do it anyway. You know, I didn't know it was a spirit speaking to me at the time, but back then it was a spirit. It was a spirit saying, you know, do it anyway. And you know, fear is like a deep ingrained teaching. And in order to get that deeply ingrained teaching out of you, you got to do things totally different. You can't continue to do the same things and feel like you're going to get over the fears that are set in place out for us. And fear is not something that
You're breaking up heavy. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but I can tell with your phone still being a little warbled that you're probably still going to continue to break up. I don't know if you have good signal. It's been happening for a little while, but we've been able to catch the gist of what you're saying. I don't know if everybody watching can hear me, but it looks like he's trying to fix it right now. I didn't want him. I didn't want those words to be lost. This is very important. Let's try it. Yeah, just try to pick up where I interrupted you.
Yeah. So so that fear, you know, we're not born with fear, right? We're not born with it. We learn it over time. Fear is learned, a learned trait. And so, you know, it goes deep. The fear goes deeper than we think, you know, like, you know, the fear of loss, you know, fear of missing out, the fear of not having, the fear of losing your parents, the fear of not having money. All these things are coming to your process from other people, you know, they pass it on to you like, oh, don't do this. Oh, you know, you can't do that. And in order to remove that fear from your aura, I would say you have to kind of leave your comfort zone, you know, like here, and help me get over that fear a lot. Self-love helped me get over that helped me get over different fears. When I was on my way, quick story, when I was on my way to the ayahuasca ceremony to do this medicine, I almost turned around, bro. I for a moment it entered my head and was like, what are you doing? You're crazy. Like, and you know, and I was like, I had to tell it to shut up. I literally had to, like, I'm sure like people thought I was crazy because I started talking to myself. I'm like, shut up. Like, you have to literally go tell yourself to, like, you got to turn that part off, and you got to, like, tell yourself, oh, this is happening. And I went and did it. So glad that the journey I had was amazing. I got so many downloads. That's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, I did it anyway, you know. And so when that fear comes in, when that fear creeps in, you just do it. You just do it anyway. Like, you know, that's the best, like, advice I can say is, like, just do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So as we wrap up, I always ask these two questions. What do the next 3 years look like for the world?
For the world, or for
The world. For the world.
Wow. So, man, the world right now looks pretty bleak, pretty dark, man. There's a dark, I would say, a dark energy, a dark force. I compare it to Star Wars, I guess. I don't know if there's any Star Wars nerds, but, like, you know, you have the Jedi and then you have the dark force, you know. So, you know, like, yeah, the dark side. There's a duality. There's duality with everything. There's always light versus dark, good versus evil. The dark side is winning right now, unfortunately. Like, it's so, you know, it's so many things happening. But the light, we call it the consciousness. We call it the collective, the conscious collective, are starting to rise up. I feel that in the next 3 years, there's going to be an uprise of consciousness, conscious people who are going to be able to take position and kind of override this darkness, and get the people. What's happening is that the people in power, the powers that be, the people that are at the top, are using this dark energy to get their power. And don't get it twisted. The same power that the powerful people have, the same energy that the powerful people have, is the same energy that the light workers have, but they're using it in a different way. Same thing. They're just using it as a different way to control the mind, right? So, but I believe that this conscious collective are going to rise up and take over the power. You know,
in the next 3 years, please.
Leave in the next 2 years, bro. In the next 2 years.
All right. Okay. All right.
but then also you're still gonna have that dark energy. It's
It's
always
a
gonna
part
be
of
there.
us.
Right. It's duality. There's light and darkness and everything.
That's
So
right.
we always have to remember that. But the light just has to overpower the dark. You know, I'm not I'm not too settled. I would say with America. Uh, there's so many light. There's
So
more.
let me
Yeah.
jump in right there and
Yeah.
ask you my next question, which is, what do the next 3 years look like for Jones Effects?
The next 3 years looks like out of this country, bro. I'm getting out of this country for sure.
Yeah.
I just recently went to Costa Rica. It was a magnificent, amazing journey. I spent like 9 days in the jungle. Wow, it was beautiful, bro. Like if you ever need to reset, if you need to hit the reset button, leave the city, leave the suburbs, and go to the wilderness, bro. Go to the jungle. You will get so much consciousness, so much peace from being in the jungle. You know, even if you go to the beach and you put, you know, you're at the beach, it just helps, you know, you think. And so I was able to, you know, leave the country. I'm planning on going to a lot of different places outside of this country. You know, a lot of people think like, oh, America is the land of the free, home of the brave. I love that. That's all beautiful. But there's other places that are free and brave. And there's other places that are beautiful and just like it's a different way of living. There's not like I was in Costa Rica and I didn't hear one siren, bro. Like I didn't hear one police car, ambulance, fire. You know, there's no emergencies in the. There's no emergencies. Like there's no like what's going on? What's happening? There's none of that. There's none of that. Like it was so peaceful, dog. And as soon as I came back to LA, it was like wham. Like what the hell?
Oh, pollution. Oh,
But
Hollywood. Oh,
but you know, that's all a part of the integration, and that's why it's so good when you go there because it's like a relaxation. And you know, now with meditation, I can go there anytime. I can go to that place anytime. And so the next 3 years is definitely traveling and getting out of this country for sure.
wow. Jones Effects, man. You killing these interviews, man. My brother, man. What a great conversation. We're gonna do this again. I
But
knew we were gonna go over the time. I was ready for it. So I'm just gonna break this up into 3 different parts. I'm gonna get you
beautiful.
back. We're gonna talk more about the ayahuasca for sure. You
I'm
know,
ready.
we're gonna talk
Keep,
more about.
keep this thing going, man. I got some people I think you should interview too, bro. I think you should
Please,
have.
I'm glad you said that. Yeah, please do that because you know I'm not the socialite. You know, I'm not the networker. I'm not even with the social media. I'm not. I just can't do it. So yeah,
This
if you have anybody, yeah, bring them through.
I have I feel really good about this energy for you. You are a great interviewer. You're a great question asker, and this is a good
Thank you.
platform for you. Even this is kind of like speaking your voice too. You know, so
I'm
I
being
think it's
slick.
good.
You see me? Don't snitch on me. I'm being slick. You know I
Feeling it,
want
bro.
to talk, but I'm like, look, let me just let the people talk for me.
Right, absolutely. And anybody who you've touched or you've blessed through your music, through your production, through your engineering, they're all going to understand you. You're always teaching in every facet of what you do. So this is
Wow.
just a part. This is just a part of your teaching. This is just a part of your journey, man. And I'm here for it, dog. I support you 100% in anything you do, bro. I love you, man.
Love you too, brother. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Y'all, this is King Jones Effects. Make sure y'all follow him. If you're anywhere in the LA area, go
Pull up.
to Chicken and Chips.
Pull up.
Get you whatever meal they got. And he'll probably be in the store. You know, hit him up. say what's up. Make sure y'all follow me, maxxgilliam.
Yeah.
There's music. You can look up maxxgilliam music everywhere. Do all of that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to plug that as well. I got to remember to say these things.
Yeah.
And come back for more interviews. 10 minutes with maxxgilliam, y'all. Come back. When y'all see me go live, y'all know what time it is. I don't really go live about too much else. So,
Let's go.
King Jones effect.
I
I'm so
appreciate you,
proud
man.
of you, bro. I love you, man.
You, bro.
Talk to you soon.
Peace.
Later.